Hello everyone, I hope you are having a wonderful time. Today I like to share my experience of using this Eva Solo DMP A6 music streamer DAC with highly capable digital to analog conversion, as well as giving you a lot of options based on Android OS. Even if I add additional add-on storage, it will automatically add folders and everything, even though I formatted outside of the component. Here's a little quick installation that I did on the internal add-on storage drive that I added to this DMP A6. So it's very straightforward and easy, but I advise you to format that drive, storage drive, on your computer using either NTFS or exFAT format and insert it inside the DMP A6. The way that the OS setting and the way that they set it up from the factory and the firmware setting is it doesn't really work well with if you want to format the storage drive. DMP A6 came with this little screwdriver, so you just unscrew this. This is the locking mechanisms. Gently pull it out from there. I'm using this Samsung 970 EVO Plus 2 terabyte drive. If you are not used to these kind of stuff, if you look at it here, there's a little divider right here. Just match the little divider with this little opening. You just slide it in. Push it down and lock it. I hope you can see it. They made it really easy. Design is very nice. It has ventilated box, very well spaced out, and every inlets and outlets and everything is on each section. But primarily I use UPnP playback or online streaming using Qobuz, or I use this internal music streaming with Sony Music Server and internal storage that I added. As usual, I started on the TV system and optical inputs and HDMI connected, and it works everything fine. Then I move over to this main system, which I'm using this JBL L100 Classic 75th Anniversary Edition with this Andrew Jones Design Pioneer TED S1EX pairing with Accuphase E4000 integrated amplifier, as well as using Ice Power 500 watts Class D mono block with leather bulk preamplifier. So those are two different systems that I pair with, and I try both of the systems. It sounds very impressive. Try a few different filters and I end up going back to fast roll off because it sounded natural and a little bit warmer side of sound signature. Upper bass and upper mid range and everything is good frequency extension with holographic stereo image that it can produce. Very good illusion of a three-dimensional soundstage that it can produce, whichever speakers that I was using. But I really love the way that it sounds with this S1EX and Accuphase E4000. It has great synergy together. There is no brightness or harshness at all, but when I was using apodizing filter, there are a little bit of brightness to it for my taste, so that's why I went back to fast roll of linear PCM filter. So that is my reference and main filter that I've been using with DMP A6. I might be comparing with the other streamer that I have in the future, but as of right now, so far in terms of sound quality, this is my favorite streamer DAC, right? Not DAC alone, is using as a streamer and DAC together. And I also try using external DAC, which is Dina Phipps Pontus 2, using USB output from this DMP A6 to Pontus 2, and it sounded very nice. It's something, really forgiving and engaging sound signature, whether I'm using not oversampling or oversampling mode. When I went back to this DMP A6 standalone directly connected to my amplifier using right cable, the Dallas XLR cable, it just really opened it up and it shows true ability of the sound signature, and the synergy is really clicked together. One thing that I would like to remind you is this DMP A6 output is significantly louder than my other 5-volt XLR out, right? Like Marantz SACD player and this Sony Music Server. So it's about 8 to 10 dB louder in my system. So I end up reducing the volume control. I usually listen around volume control between like 50 and 55 dB on the display. So I end up turning it down to 60 dB. So average PCM5 playback, it will get me around like average loudness of between 65 and 75 dB range with 80 dB peaks. So that kind of loudness level that I was able to listen and enjoy my music. DMP A6 is very impressive sounding audiophile quality sound signature. It has Eva Solo sound engine redeliver the music as it received, but it may have a tweaks in there. So when I was listening all my music, right, I was trying back to back, see which one will sound better, this music server or internet storage or Cobus streaming. What I notice is when I listen to Cobus streaming, the upper range of frequencies are a tad brighter. Then I went back to internet storage. Is a little bit more refined and a little bit more warmer side of sound signature. That is, I mean, if I have to choose one, I would love to keep the internet storage drive pairing sound signature instead of streaming from online. I don't use Wi-Fi based streaming. Ethernet cable is always connected. I noticed that a little bit of different in upper range of frequency. The vocals may be tiny bit sharper than they are using UPnP server or internet storage. Between UPnP server and internet storage is about the same, but internet storage have a slight edge on it in terms of like separation, a tiny bit. Okay, I have to pay very close attention to it using music that I really know like that. Otherwise, you will not notice at all. So between UPnP and internet storage drive, but online streaming, I can notice it right away. Price and performance and sound quality that we are getting for under $900, you will have reference grade sound quality, audiophile worthy sound signature with nice and engaging tonal balance. So overall tonal balance and sound signature is very good neutral sound with slight hint of warmness in overall frequency range, nice and punchy bass quality with keeping it everything neutral yet very good immediacy with good separation, and holographic stereo image with good three-dimensional sound stage is most impressive for all in sound quality. I'm very impressed with the way that they design and the way that they voice this DMP A6. But there are a few downsides, right? So when I was listening to my music back to back, sometimes I want to switch to next track right away. When I click on it, it doesn't play right away. It lags 3 to 5 seconds time to time, even though I'm playing all PCM FLAC files. And another thing that I like to mention is even when you are switching DSD to PCM or PCM to DSD or even MQA, and there is no noise at all. I mean, between the tracks, there is absolutely no noise at all, very quiet. So that is another impressive feature that they have, and design and functions and everything is very good. Firmware could improve in terms of easy to have more options, like when I try to add the library, but you have to create another library to have your own playlist. So those kind of steps you have to go through instead of go into your add-on storage drive and just select the tracks that you want to add to your playlist, but you have to create another library to do that. So that is another a little tiny bit of downside for me personally. It's just a little bit of extra steps that I have to go through, or we have to go through. But in terms of sound quality, I have no complaint at all. Very impressive sounding, high quality deck that can gives a lot of high-end streamer decks run for money. So if you ask me, how would this compare to Matrix Mini i4? So this one, Eva Solo DMP A6, is for people like us, audiophiles that prefer very good sounding component with very musical sound signature. So that is a DMP A6 is a great choice. But the Matrix Audio Mini i4 it has total neutrality that it can produce. Overall sound signature itself is. So that component is studio worthy sound quality that it can produce. That depending on your preference. This EOS feature is really giving me most enjoyable sound reproduction and sound signature out of it. I try on and off, and I prefer EOS on in place of this Letterbox R2R pre-stage. So I replaced with this Eva Solo DMP A6, and it sounded very good using Ice Power 500 watts Class D mono blocks. Driving these two speakers and EOS engine combination can deliver very good sound quality. Another one important thing that I forgot to mention is very same music. Okay, some of the tracks I have PCM high-res and DSD files, right? I try it back to back. What I can notice is DSD file is a bit more neutral because it doesn't have any filtering option. And when I try very same track, PCM file, slightly warmer and a little bit richer side of tone and balance compared to DSD file. That's where EOS engine come into play. So I had this DMP A6 for a while. No matter what I listen to, when I listen to, no matter what I pair with, it never really disappoint me. It's truly impressive sounding and high quality streamer deck that you can have for your money. Highly recommended, my friend. Thank you very much for watching and happy listening.
Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, men have named you. You're so like the lady with a mystic smile. Is it only 'cause you're lonely they have blamed you for that Mona Lisa strangeness in her smile? Do you smile to tempt a lover, Mona Lisa? Or is this your way to hide a broken heart? Many dreams have been brought to your doorstep. they just lie there and they die there. Are you warm? Are you real, Mona Lisa? Or just a cold and lonely, lovely work of art? Many dreams have been brought to your doorstep, but they just lie there and they die there. Are you warm? Are you real, Mona Lisa? Or just a cold and lonely, lovely work of art? Are you warm? Are you real, Mona Lisa? Or just a cold and lonely, lovely work of art?
Okay.